everyone. Calling the roll for the Monday, February 24th Board of Control meeting. We have Nan Baker. Here. Dale Miller. Here. Jim Boyle serving as an alternate for Dan Brady.
Here.
Dave Marquardt serving as an alternate for Mike Dever. Here. Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Armin Budish.
Here.
Shankita Walker serving as an alternate for Lenore Lockett. Here. Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for the fiscal officer. Here. We have a quorum. It is now 11:02 a.m.
Okay, if we all could let me know if you have any questions on the minutes from February 18th. And if not, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay. The minutes are approved. Public comment?
No public comment at this time.
Okay, contracts and awards.
First new item number BC 2020-141, Department of Public Works, submitting an amendment subsidiary number 1 to a contract with Carvo Companies, Inc. for the resurfacing of Cedar Road from Somme Center Road to Chagrin Road in the villages of Gates Mills and Hunting Valley for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $7,623.21.
Yeah, good morning, members of the board. Tom Sotak representing Public Works this morning. Yeah, this is amended agreement. This is amended agreement number 1. This project was a Cedar Road, resurfacing a Cedar Road from Somme Center to Chagrin River Road in the villages of Gates Mills and Hunting Valley. And the amount is $7,623.21. Primarily, this cost is associated with some owner-directed items and some unforeseen conditions associated with the project.
Okay, are there any questions for Tom? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Next item number BC 2020-142, Department of Information Technology, submitting an amendment to a contract for dark fiber maintenance services, and it's for the period October 1st, 2014 through September 30th, 2019, to extend the time period to September 30th, 2024, to expand the scope of services for additional fiber maintenance at various locations effective January 12th, 2020, to modify the payment and contract terms, to assign the interest from Time Warner Cable Enterprises, LLC, to Charter Communications Operating, LLC, doing business as Spectrum, effective February 24th, 2020, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $405,431.40.
Good morning, Janelle Green on behalf of the Department of IT. This is an amendment to our Spectrum contract to cover, fiber maintenance for the county's fiber ring and also other circuits, as we did not have maintenance on those. So that would explain the difference in the time, what part is effective 1/12 versus the other parts. This contract did expire on 9/30/2019 after lots of back and forth with the vendor. We were finally able to get a contract back from them, thus the tardiness of this contract. We are looking to pay for this contract via the WAN Area Network Fund, which are general operating funds for the Department of IT. We did send over a copy of our questions this morning, and we are able to take questions beyond that.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Councilwoman Baker.
Yes, I'm just trying to read through here as we're looking at this. One of the questions was, are there any other possible service providers? And you said no, that this runs their conduit and they are
Correct.
The only one. So would this make this a sole source?
Technically, it could be a sole source. We would try to go and look for other vendors that could possibly do this, but they've held this contract since at least 2014. So basically, the fiber ring that the county has runs through the Spectrum Charter conduit, and really, if we had another provider, they would have to get permission to go into that conduit to make any repairs.
So would you consider going sole source next time, or?
If it is the next time, we are looking, this particular contract has a 30-day out. We are looking at exploring other avenues.
You are?
So that's why we were amending this until we can get that plan in place.
Secondly, it was asked if any services have been provided and what has been paid, and your answer was nothing has been paid.
Correct. The contract expires September 30th, and we've only paid invoices up to that date, but we have some gaps in between that time.
So in that gap, will there be any back services paid? Are they waiting for any money as of today? When this
Yes.
gets passed?
So this is a maintenance contract, so we have to have that continuity. So we do need to right the ship in terms of that. So we would need to make those payments.
So the answer then is that, yes, we do owe them.
We do owe them funds, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyle, please.
All right, so I think I get it then. So the contract ended in September, and they've still been doing the services, and then you guys were waiting to get the contract through the system to pay the money.
Not even through the system,
I
to
mean-
get back from them. Unfortunately, it took a long time for
All
them
right,
to
I
send it
got you.
back.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, last chance. Any other questions on this item? No? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item is a two-part item, item number BC 2020-143, Department of Human Resources. A, submitting an RFP exemption on a purchase order which will result in an award recommendation to State of Ohio Department of Job and Family Services in the amount not to exceed $475,000 for unemployment compensation payments, and it's for the period December 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2020. And B, recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Pat Smock on behalf of the Department of Human Resources. This item is for payment to the state for unemployment compensation. Over the past many years, at least 20 years, these payments have been made each month by voucher, and now a purchase order is required, and it'll improve the audit trail and processing for these moving forward. The item is slated to start December 1st, 2020, but it's actually starting with the current invoice. The invoice has come 2 months behind, so the December invoice was received 2 weeks ago, and it's due February 28th, January invoice in March, et cetera. On the other hand, the item is scheduled to end December 31st, 2020, but that December payment will actually be made in February of 2021. So to ensure transparency, the period date of the services rendered was used, excuse me, rather than the invoice date. And we're requesting an RFP exemption because these December services are already rendered. And so for services rendered, we require an RFP exemption. But of course, the state of Ohio is the only vendor that provides these services for unemployment in the state. It's anticipated the amount we're requesting not to exceed will cover the 13 monthly payments for the time period listed, and we appreciate your consideration.
Okay, any questions on this item? Mr. Boyle?
You said they moved from voucher to invoice. Did we do that or they did that?
The new fiscal system's requiring that everything goes through purchase order, so these have been done on an invoice for many years, and the fiscal office for a long time has been trying to clean up the vouchering process here.
All right. But it wasn't from the state side, it was more us just cleaning up our operations?
Correct, no change from the state of Ohio in their billing, invoicing, et cetera.
I was looking for a reason to blame them, but I guess we'll have to go in a different.
I can't provide that today, unfortunately, for you. I apologize.
It's always next week.
That's correct.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no further questions, I'll move to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item approved.
Next item, item number BC 2020-144, Department of Human Resources, submitting an amendment to a contract with Health Management Systems, Inc. for dependent eligibility review services. And it's for the period March 26, 2018 through March 25th, 2020, to extend the time period to April 15th, 2021, to change the terms by increasing the project fees from $18 to $18.54 per employee/review participant, and it's effective February 24th, 2020, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $9,990.
Good morning, Holly Woods, Director of HR for Benefits and Compensation. So this is a one-year amendment for the HMS contract. HMS performs our dependent audits during the open enrollment period. On average, they can audit anywhere between 200 to 600 dependents during that time period. They have a mechanism where they send out all the notices to the employees. They issue specific accounts for each of these employees, and the employees can then go upload their confidential documentations to show proof of relationship for those dependents. So it can be a very cumbersome process, which our systems do not allow for us to do today. This is a process that, based on a benefits audit, we were found to have some deficiencies, which is why we use a vendor for this. It's a very secure, orderly process, and might be something that in the future with our new Infor system that we can incorporate into our own process in future years.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions for Holly? I know there were some pre-questions answered. Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Marquardt. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, item approved. Thank you.
Next item, item number BC 2020-145, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, Office of Emergency Management, submitting an amendment to a contract with Knowledge Center Enterprises, LLC, for maintenance on the Crisis Information Management System. And it's for the period July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2020, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $59,151.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn from Public Safety. And the Knowledge Center system is the system that we use in the Emergency Operations Center to coordinate efforts with emergency personnel, the public safety answering points, and other incident personnel. It provides first responders notification that an incident has occurred. It also provides situational awareness, and it's resource tracking for the emergency equipment. As of now, we have over 14,000 fire department, police department, and service department equipment listed so that we know where our assets are throughout the county. Currently, we have 57 communities in Cuyahoga County who are active participants in the Knowledge Center system, and it's on that basis we're requesting to renew the contract for another 3 years.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mary Beth on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item approved. Thank you.
Next item, item number BC 2020-146, Department of Health and Human Services, Community Initiatives Division, Family and Children First Council, submitting an amendment to an agreement with Cleveland Metropolitan School District for school-based, community-based Closing the Achievement Gap program services, and it's for the period July 24th, 2018 through December 31st, 2019, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2021, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $407,800.
Good morning, Kathleen Johnson from Family and Children First Council. This is a contract amendment for Closing Achievement Gap with Cleveland Municipal School District. This is for underachieving youth, primarily with African American students. This is in East Tech and Glenville schools with African American females. We are in other school districts. This is for $407,800, and it's for 2 years. We did answer the questions this morning, so I do have those answers if you were not able to receive those, and if you have any other questions.
Are there any questions? Councilman Miller.
How many people are expected to be served? How many youth during the year?
We usually serve at least 50 girls because the population is smaller with the girls group. With the other schools where we serve the boys, it's at least 100 boys per school.
Mr. Boyle, please.
And you did provide answers, or at least they were provided, and I appreciate that. But the last question, I think, and I'm not going to push you on this, but what are the latest evaluation results on the program? We are still the biggest part of these programs is to make sure that we get data to support whatever outcomes are coming back from these programs. And it doesn't look like we have any from prior incident. Is there anything you can add on that?
We moved the evaluation in-house to Health and Human Services, and it's only one person in that department, so that's where the lag in time is. So the evaluation consists of every time the youth participate in a program, they do the surveys, and it's only one person completing the evaluation from the surveys. So, but they do activities like at least once a month. So you're talking about maybe if 100 youth per school are doing the surveys, you're talking like thousands of actual surveys that he's doing himself. So it's literally taking him almost a year to do the evaluation. So we just don't have it. And our program officer, Charmaine Pope, is trying to help him finish it, but it's daunting for one person to do it. So that's why we don't have anything. We've had evaluation when Case was doing it 2 years ago. So we have that evaluation, but we don't have anything from the last 2 years, unfortunately.
Who was doing it between Case and in-house? Who was doing it?
Leon Harris, Dr. Leon Harris, with he's housed through Health and Human Services over at Jane and the Hunter Building.
Okay, any further questions? Councilwoman Baker.
Just some clarification on your backup. And I see the only school buildings are East Tech and Glenville, but you expressed in your backup that school districts, let's see here. Communities expressed concerns, let's see, community requests were sent directly. Based on those, we added by council in 2014-2015 budget cycle, the communities expressed concern related to safety. Tell us about the schools that showed interest but were not part of this program.
I don't know that any schools that asked for it didn't get it.
Okay.
To be honest with you, Councilwoman, we're in Warrensville Heights, Cleveland Heights, University Heights, Garfield Heights, Maple Heights. Bedford is coming on board this year. We're involved with East Cleveland. So honestly, I didn't put the contract in. Charmaine Pope does all of that. So I would have to read over to see. But to my knowledge, we haven't turned down a district that asked for the service. So
Okay.
let me, can I take a minute just to read through the part right here? The only thing I can think of in regards to that is that the state ran the program years and years ago. Or maybe if they wanted to expand to the female population, that might have been the request. I'm honestly, I don't have that answer for you, but I could find out. I can ask Ms. Pope when I get back to the office this afternoon.
Could elaborate on that?
I sure
appreciate
can.
it. Secondly, this contract ended 12/31/19, and it started in 7/24/18. So there was, and this is continuing that program.
Yes.
So why would we, why are 2 months have passed and we have not been able to get this to us on time? And I see the explanation you gave, but we've had a year and a half to, right, from 7/24/18 to 12/31/19 in order to know that we're going to be renewing this contract?
Right, so we have to wait for the superintendents to sign off on the contract, so that's always a dilemma. And again, with the budget hearing being released in November, with the schools shutting down in early December, we had to wait for them to come back with the superintendents. There was a time lag with the justification. We had to wait for that. We had to have it re-signed for some reason because the list changed of who was an approved signer, and our department director wasn't on the list, so we had to get it re-signed. So that took like a couple weeks. We always have a problem with the programs that we run with the schools with that 2-week time in December and waiting to get documents in early January and that's happened with our department more so, I think, than others because we worked a lot with youth. And, you know, I don't know another way to work around that with a budget year, I guess.
Right, so, yeah, without a budget year,
Yes.
you think you can get this more timely?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So it's because, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any further questions? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved.
Next item, item number BC 2020-147, Office of the Medical Examiner, recommending a sole source award on requisition 47622 and to enter into a contract with Lodox NA LLC in the amount not to exceed $55,500 for support and maintenance on the StatScan critical imaging system, and is for the period April 30th, 2020 through April 29th, 2023.
Hugh Shannon, Medical Examiner's Office. This is a 3-year maintenance contract on our digital x-ray equipment.
Any questions for Hugh? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Moving on to exemptions, the next item is a two-part item, item number BC 2020-148. Excuse me, hold on. I'm sorry, we're not moving on to exemptions. This is still the regular part of the agenda. Again, Sheriff's Department submitting an RP exemption on requisition 47851, which will result in an award recommendation to Geauga County in the amount not to exceed $490,000 for outsourcing prisoner board and care services to reduce the average daily population in the county jails, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, Section 341.12, for the period February 24th, 2020 through December 31st, 2020, and B, recommending the award in connection with said RP exemption.
Good morning, Tanisha Gates with the Sheriff's Department. Requesting approval for the RFP exemption, which would result in an award to Geauga County for prisoner board and care services for the remainder of 2020. There were some advanced questions. The per diem rate is $75. As for the second question, the directive was received from Mr. Kochevar and Sheriff Mason to proceed with these not to exceed for the 3 counties. Your plan is to continue to utilize the 3 outside counties, and the average inmates sent to Geauga County since August has actually been 30 inmates since August of 2019. And this was one of the best estimate we were able to come up with for the remainder of 2019. As for the third question, that was going to be addressed by my superiors.
Okay. Do we have any questions on this item? Mr. Boyle.
I'm a bit confused. So in the answer, so is this dollar amount, the $490,000, for Geauga County alone, or because the answers that was given in the advanced questions kind of indicates that it's both for Seneca, Wood, and Geauga County. Do you know?
The 490 will be only for Geauga.
Okay, and this is for how? It's for 3 years.
Oh, just for the remainder of 2020.
Okay. Does this include transport dollar amounts for who transports them?
I believe we transport them to Geauga County, and that does include all fees, including medical fees as well.
Okay, so we pay to transport them there. Do we transport them back?
I would have to get an answer for you on that.
Any further questions? Mr. Miller, please. Councilman Miller.
It says this is in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 341.12. What does that section deal with?
I would have to review that myself and get you that answer.
Councilwoman Baker, please.
So we are paying $75,
That's correct for Geauga County.
right? And yet, to come to our jails, we're charging 90, I think 99 to 105.
Cleveland Police Department is currently 99. All the others that are currently being held are at 105.16, I believe.
And how are we going to get an answer back on the question that's not answered today? Is that coming?
I am told it's coming down the pipelines, and you should be receiving that. Hopefully, has been forwarded.
Councilwoman, would you like to hold this item? Is that what I'm hearing possibly, or?
Yeah. You know, it doesn't sound like, so Seneca County and Wood County, are we yet to hear from that to see whether or not we're also going to be paying to send to those jails also?
Can you repeat that question?
You have on here Seneca County and Wood County that is not included in this 490,
That's correct.
right? So when will we hear about Seneca County and Wood County?
Okay, so the plan is to start a new not to exceed purchase order for those as well to cover any more charges for the remainder of 2020. There are still funds available in the existing purchase orders for both of those counties, but with the possibility of utilizing them going forward, we would like to put something else in place.
I don't know, does members here have any interest in getting a more strategic answer than county by county? And
You know, as a designee, I certainly have some concerns, Councilwoman, and I'm not sure what the overall plan is, but I know that we've been using Seneca, Geauga, and Wood County for some time, and so that's not a secret. And I think it's been beneficial to easing the crowding at the county jail, which is obviously a huge issue we're all familiar with. I understand the concerns, and I'll take my lead from
Councilman Miller.
I'm interested in getting responses to the questions that we asked, but I think that we can move forward on the item.
Okay, if that's it.
And I would, you know, I would agree. I really don't think it's wise to hold this up. It's something that's needed. But we should get a better answer as to why we're bringing prisoners in and then we're paying to send prisoners out. What's the strategic plan to come before us in this Board of Control to pay for it both ways, to accept and to pay? So I think a better long-term answer would be appreciated, but I don't think we should hold it up today either.
Okay, based on that information then, if there's no further questions?
Just a comment.
Sure.
That it didn't come back today, but when these items come back for the entities that we're entering into contracts with, hopefully we'll get some of that strategic information.
Okay, very good. Seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve then. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
The next item, item number BC 2020-149, Domestic Relations Court, submitting an amendment to a contract with Craig J. Brishnahan, Esquire, for legal services for indigent clients in Domestic Relations Court. And it's for the period November 4th, 2014 through December 31st, 2019, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2021, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $40,000.
Good morning, Board. Justin Seaton on behalf of the Domestic Relations Court. The Domestic Relations Court is requesting to amend to extend the term of our existing program services with Craig Breshnahan through 12/31/21. Mr. Breshnahan provides legal representation for indigent clients charged with offenses subjecting them to the possibility of incarceration in the Domestic Relations Court. For the services rendered and expenses incurred, the contractor shall be entitled to compensation in the amount not to exceed $40,000 at the rate of $55 per hour for out-of-court and $65 per hour for in-court inclusive of all reasonable expenses. This contract is also 100% 4D reimbursable.
Okay, and then just a brief discussion on why it was late. I think that was one of the questions.
Regarding the advanced question regarding the timeliness of this, we had a little bit of turnover in administration at the court, and it was a misunderstanding between who had access to what and who had rights to what privileges through the approval channel. So that kind of backlogged us a little bit. We've addressed those concerns and make future efforts to prevent this from happening again.
Okay, Mr. Boyle, please.
And I know you mentioned, I didn't get it down, what was the in-court versus out-of-court hourly?
$55 per hour for out-of-court services and $65 per hour for in-court.
Councilman Miller, please.
Follow-up question, how was that rate determined?
This was based on our previous rate of $50 and $65 or $50 and $60 per hour, which the original contract began back in 2014, and we just adjusted based on those the time frame of the services and how long it's been provided.
Just a comment that that we're currently going with $60 on guardian ad litem compensation. Okay. So this is pretty consistent with that, but we on the GAL we went with the same price for in court and out of court as opposed to making that distinction.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Seeing no further questions, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a set? Oh, I'm sorry.
Shankita Walker, Office of Procurement and Diversity. Mr. Brusnahan is not currently listed on the IG as a registered vendor, so he needs to register with the IG so we can make a conditional.
Okay. So what that means is make sure you have him sign up, because we're going to approve this, or if we approve it, it'll be conditional on his registration.
Understood.
Okay, so I will, Councilwoman Baker, please.
Just because we're 2 months late and it's not the fault of the federal, which I thought it was, given this is 100% federal reimbursed, any issues of not being reimbursed because we're asking for this 2 months into the one-year contract?
I do not believe so.
Okay, and any services or paid payments?
Not to date.
Today. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I will then make a motion to approve upon proper registration with the Inspector General. Sir?
For court-appointed attorneys.
Oh, that is correct. Okay. Well,
He's been, we've used.
first time I've heard him.
We've used Craig before. I mean, Brosnan's been in this. I mean, that's why I was surprised. I mean, I thought maybe just.
Yeah, this contract originates back in 2014.
Okay, well, that's fine. Then we won't need the. We'll just go ahead and I'll make the motion to approve. Then is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Next item number BC 2020-150, Department of Regional Collaboration, recommending an award on a purchase order and enter into a contract with Kegler, Brown, Hill, and Ritter Co., LP, the amount not to exceed $225,000 for state advocacy services, and it's for the period February 18, 2020 through February 17, 2023.
Good morning, Michelle Pomerantz, Director of Regional Collaboration, bringing forth this contract. We did have it bid out. There were 9 people that we interviewed, and Kegler, Brown, Hill, Ritter and Company was the choice that we made for a 3-year contract to be paid monthly, totaling $225,000.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Councilman Miller, please.
My question is about the term and the timing of the contract. As a former state legislator, I know that the budget process it takes place in the odd numbered years, and the budget is typically due from the governor on February 1st, and so we would have the contract expiring 2 weeks after the start of the budget process. That doesn't seem like a good time to be ending the contract. Have we given any thought to that?
Councilman Miller, yes, we have, and it will be my responsibility to make sure that by that time we extend it post that date and to watch this contract more efficiently than it was watched in the past to ensure that we're not at a lapse of advocacy at that important time. Right now that we're working on the capital budget requests and we're working to develop a plan with our directors to help develop a policy platform that will likely extend way past that biennial budget. But we wanted to make sure that we were thoughtful in terms of keeping this a 3-year contract and making sure that it's relative. And by that time, we'll know for sure whether or not we want to continue with this vendor or not. I would suspect we will. We have a 30-day out contract with a notification either way. But with all likelihood, we will be coming to you to extend that before that critical time.
And what does the contract provide for in terms of possible extensions?
Much like the 30-day getting out clause, there's a 30-day to extend the contract clause.
And does it say like there's X number of 1-year extensions, or doesn't it say anything like that? Is it entirely at our option as to what we want to do?
I believe, but I can look back and make sure that it's entirely up to our options as what to do.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Councilwoman Baker.
Also, is within the contract, which looks like 3 years,
Yes.
Have they given a strategic plan as to how much for the amount of money that we're paying them, what they think they're going to bring back in order to justify the $225,000?
Well, it was $75,000 per year,
Okay,
and they have given us a strategic plan on a policy platform. They like to work with our directors to help make sure that there's the understanding down in Columbus of what Cuyahoga County needs, as well as what our strengths are to be able to develop consistent communication, whether it's through grants, legislation, or other agency rulings to help bring back more money for Cuyahoga County, but it was not specific to what that was.
if after 1 year you find that they're unsuccessful,
We have a 30-day contract to
Eliminate
end the
their service.
contract, eliminate the service, begin a new RFP for a new vendor.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Now moving on to exemptions, item number BC 2020-151, Office of the Medical Examiner, submitting an RFP exemption on requisition 47675, which will result in various award recommendations to Italian Cravings, Inc., doing business as Italian Creations, in the total amount not to exceed $12,000 for the purchase of lunches for death scene investigation training course participants, and it's for the period February 24th, 2020 through December 31st, 2020.
Hugh Shannon, Medical Examiner's Office. So this and the following item are to provide meals for a couple of the programs that we're running. The Death Scene Investigation Training course, we run 6 in a calendar year, and those range from 3 to 5 day programs. And we did a bid process last year in Buy Speed for meal services, and a couple of things that we needed were to be able to cover a multitude of meals, both breakfast, lunch, and dinners, and also for delivery. And we only got 2, I believe, last year, and this was the cheapest, and we were happy with them, the quality of the meals and the timeliness of their delivery service. And when we got to this year, with everything else that was happening, this unfortunately slipped through the cracks, and so we're asking to extend this just for a single year, and then we'll have another process to determine for next year's meals, if that's all right.
Okay, thank you, Hugh. Is there any questions on this item?
Where does the training take place?
At our office.
All right.
And I believe there's a fee that they charge the occupants, which then pays for the lunches.
Participant, correct.
Yeah. Any further questions? Seeing none, I'll move to approve. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number BC 2020-152, Office of the Medical Examiner, submitting an RFP exemption on requisition 47951, which will result in various award recommendations, again, to Italian Cravings, Inc., doing business as Italian Creations, in the total amount not to exceed $3,000, and it's for the purchase of dinners for Citizens Academy training course participants, and is for the period February 24th, 2020 through December 31st, 2020.
Hugh Shannon again. So again, the only difference here is that this is a evening program, so it's just dinners. And this is a community outreach program, and it's modeled after the FBI and the Sheriff's Citizen Academies. It was very popular last year. There is a sign-up online on our website. The next courses, actually, I think the next academy starts shortly. This one is paid for by our office out of the general fund. There's no charge for participants in the Citizen Academy.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item approved. Thanks.
Moving on to the consent agenda items, item numbers BC 2020-153 through 156.
Okay, if everyone takes a minute to review them and let me know if there's any questions. Okay, seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve today's consent agenda item as noted. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next, any other business?
There's no other business at this time and no other public comment.
Okay, with that being said, then I will make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.